me. Tyler, Brian, good to see you guys. Guys, there's so much history behind the two organizations, Lifetime and Diamond Corp. Give us an understanding. What is the history here?
Yeah, I mean, when I focus on our organization, I mean, my family has been in the building business in Toronto for over 70 years, going back to my grandfather, who was one of the founders of Cadillac Fairview. Fast forward to today, Diamond Corp as an organization is getting close to our 20th anniversary. Really historically focused on larger scale city building projects. So things like the well right next door here, the former Celestica lands, Brightwater and Port Credit, and now most recently Q Tower. And so what we do is really try and shepherd these projects through from really a raw piece of land into what can be a large-scale project that contributes back to the fabric of the city.
So in the case of Lifetime, you know, it's a family-run business. We've been around for over 40 years. The company was actually started by my father-in-law, Sam Herzog, and his partner, Mel Pearl. And today it's run by myself, Mel, and Mel's son, Michael. And you know, as far as the history between Diamond Corp and Lifetime, as Ty mentioned, like, our history goes back, you know, quite a few years. In fact, Steve, before starting Diamond Corp, was our municipal lawyer. And I remember one of the first projects that I worked on 20 years ago when I came into the business was the rezoning of a patch of land at Bay Street in Yorkville. And that's today where the new Four Seasons sits. So it's both the zoning of the new Four Seasons, but also the old Four Seasons. And so that history, that relationship goes back, you know, quite a few decades. And we've stayed in touch over the years and bounced stuff off of each other as you know, colleagues in the industry. But we always look for an opportunity to work together.
Tyler, in this environment, you don't see a lot of builders coming together and working in tandem. What makes this a unique partnership? What makes the synergies flow when it comes to this relationship?
Yeah, and so as you know, Brian said, we've had successful partnership together in the past. And so I can't tell you the number of phone calls we had between each other in the years from when our last partnership was completed to when we were able to find Q Tower and work on it together. So we had been looking for a while for what's this next project, because what we found, you know, above all else, what matters in a partnership is respect for each other's skill sets.
Tyler, how you build really depends on where you're building. You're not gonna put certain things in downtown core versus uptown or midtown or the suburbs. So it really impacts the type of product that's being delivered to each part of the city. Give us an understanding of the thought and the process that goes into that in putting the right type of product in the right area.
Yeah, it's a great question because it's exactly right. Like when we talk about Q Tower, we have a 60-story tower in the heart of downtown, 5-minute walk from Union Station. The built form meets the neighborhood. But when I look across our portfolio, you're gonna see different examples of that, right? And so, you know, another project we're really excited to be working on right now is Birchley Park. So Birchley Park is a 19-acre master plan community at Victoria Park in Danforth. And what you see there, because of the scale of the project, but the nature of that neighborhood, is a much more medium density community. It's quite a large master plan, but the tallest building is 12 stories. So we've got townhomes all the way up to that 12-story level, really trying to deliver a product that meets the more sort of neighborhood community feel and really deliver some density to a neighborhood that's quite well transit amenitized, but doesn't yet have that level of density, shifting all the way up to something when we're looking like Q, which is downtown.
So from our standpoint, Lifetime has been building large residential buildings for the last 20 years. In fact, we made the switch from low-rise to high-rise almost 25 years ago. And you know, the first project that we got involved with was actually on the Toronto waterfront, right outside Exhibition Stadium on Lakeshore, which was called Water Park City. And it really gave us a good understanding of the difference between, you know, a downtown purchaser and a suburban purchaser.
Ty, sustainability is a word that's commonly used, and in my opinion, it's quite loosely used. Tell us a little bit about your thoughts about sustainability and how you incorporate that into your projects.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question, and it really starts with the built form itself. I mean, when you look at Q Tower, today that site is an 1,100 parking space garage, right, in the middle of downtown Toronto, which from a sustainability perspective is not helpful for us to be incentivizing people to drive downtown. Instead, that property should be 900 new homes. And when we think about actually designing the building, I mean, you think about the ratio of glazing on the building, you know, people want, you know, floor to ceiling windows, but you have to deliver that in context with actually delivering a building that can be heated and cooled sustainably, designing your green roofs, and the way that people actually interact with their space.
You know, just to build on Ty's point, a lot of what we do is really dissecting the building from a construction standpoint, and really looking at it, what material should be used. We have great consultants that we work with, in addition to certain standards that we have to meet at the city level. So green standards, making sure that we're doing things a certain way that takes the environment into consideration. So it's not just building a building, but it's also understanding how that building will have a long-term impact on the environment.
Tyler, things are constantly changing in this landscape. Innovation is at the heart of everything that everybody's trying to achieve now, especially with products and services. What are the types of innovation that you guys are seeing when it comes to constructing at the builder level?
Yeah, I mean, innovation is so interesting in the development space because we design a product so many years before it gets delivered to the end consumer. So it really requires a forward-thinking approach in terms of how do people interact with the building, how do they interact with technology today, and trying to understand, working with our technology partners and our telecom partners, how we can actually set buildings up to be innovative by the time they're delivered, not just innovative at the time we're designed.
As Ty mentioned, it's really a balancing act of incorporating technology that we know will have flexibility down the road because, like Ty said, we're selling a building today, we're not delivering it for 5 years, in the case of Q Tower, 7 years. Technology changes quite a bit after a few years. So we may say, today it's all about the foam, but 7 years from now, maybe something completely different. So when we look at our buildings, and we look at what kind of technology we're going to incorporate and how it's going to be connected and what we need to do from a construction standpoint to allow us to change technology as it goes along.
Brian, you look back at the skyline for Toronto, 2005, 2006 versus where we are today. It's a totally different landscape. What is it that attracts Lifetime and Diamond Corp and the like to this city versus other places in the country?
Toronto's been an exciting place to live. It's been quickly evolving into a mega city. There's a lot of people moving into the city, both for the schooling, for the jobs, for the economy, for the stability.
So the main reason why Toronto has seen the real estate fundamentals and growth and security of investment that we've seen is all around the population growth story. I mean, when you have a city that is growing by more people every year than it's growing by housing units, you're going to have a continuing cycle of undersupplied real estate. And when we see that, we like to operate in that business for two reasons. One, it's good business to be able to deliver a product that's undersupplied, but two, we feel very strongly that Toronto needs to be able to deliver more product to accommodate its growth, to accommodate newcomers, to accommodate people moving up, moving down, downsizing, and allow that sort of freedom of mobility for people to help support really the economic engine of Toronto. I mean, when you look at why does the city have the vibrant sort of jobs economy that it has, and why do we have the nightlife we have? It's because of that population and the population growth and the diversity of population, and that really requires a constant redevelopment of housing to be able to meet that demand.
Some great insights. A lot of people hear about awards and the significance of awards and accolades and what it means to the builder and the developer on your side. Tell us a little bit about some awards that have been significant for Lifetime and for Diamond Corp.
Sure. I mean, for us, where we take a lot of pride is when our work on sort of transitional city building gets recognized. And so just last year, our Birchley Park project won Project of the Year from the Brownie Awards, which is the Canadian Urban Institute. And so that's really a recognition of a holistic view of what's happened on that project and transitioning it from a very industrial brownfield past into a mixed-use community filled with residential, retail, new parks, community uses. And so that's really sort of when you can capture everything in that kind of an award, that gives us a lot of pride. Similarly, our Brightwater project in Port Credit won the Build Award for New Master Plan Community of the Year. I mean, it's these large-scale, very impactful recognitions of the work our team does that brings us a lot of pride.
We're always happy to get recognition from our peers and to earn awards, but the ones that I think mean the most to Lifetime are the ones that aren't actually about the building, but about the work that we're doing in the community. And that's a very important element to our company. It's why we started our charitable foundation called Lifeline, and we've done different things from raising money during COVID with a campaign called See You Soon, where we sold sweatshirts and t-shirts and used that money to buy food from struggling businesses and then give that food to the hospital workers that were putting their lives in the front line in harm's way.
Customer satisfaction is super important, especially in today's day and age where people want to have everything. Tell us a little bit about how you would treat customers and to be able to satisfy them moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, it's an incredibly important part of the business because at the end of the day, we are in the reputation and relationship business, right? If people have a positive buying experience buying in a Diamond Corp community, they're gonna tell their friends about it, their peers about it. They may come back and buy again when they're ready to, either make another investment, upsize, downsize. And so it's incredibly important for the longevity of our business. And the way that you really do that is you have to listen. And, both ourselves and Lifetime have been in this industry a very long time. And candidly, you learn things along the way. And so you learn, whether it's building design, selecting the right sites, figuring out how people are going to interact with the buildings, are there enough elevators in the buildings, really optimizing for that user experience so that people enjoy their life in their community, but also the way that they interact with you as a developer, starting from the first day they walk into the sales office until the day they sell their unit.
It starts with our staff, actually, because we need to deliver a product that we're proud of. And so we're constantly reanalyzing, re-looking, checking new materials, meeting new contractors, and making sure that whatever we're putting out in the market is built to our standards and our expectations.
Guys, a lot of exciting stuff happening. What's in the pipeline for 2024 and in the future?
We're actually very excited about our pipeline. We've got a number of projects that we've got lined up for hopefully the end of this year to launch Panda Markham, which is a site that we've been working on for 7 years. It's 4 towers, over 2 million square feet, close to 3,000 units. So it's a big development, but it's also a development that we've been working hard at bringing to market for a long time. So it'll be nice to see that one come to market. In addition to that, we've got 2 towers at Yonge and Eglinton that have been approved, and we're excited to launch those as well. So one's a 60-story building, the other one's a 58-story building.
Yeah, I mean, pipeline really is one of my favorite questions. It gives us many exciting things to talk about. And so, on our side of things, we're, as we've talked about, working on our Birchley Park master plan. And so that's 3 phases with over 1,000 units, 5-minute walk from transit. So something that we're really excited to be working from phase 1 into phase 2 on. But then also Bridge House at our Brightwater master plan in Port Credit. And then coming a little further along in the pipeline is our partnership with Cadillac Fairview to redevelop Sherway Gardens. And so the first phase of that is a 4-tower, 6-acre component with community space, retail, public parkland, and of course a really striking residential component. And so that's hopefully coming to market at some point in the next year or so, and really, really excited to bring that forward.